Thank you very much for joining us today. It's a pleasure to be with you today, and thank you for your interest in the Timextender Partner Program. It is my great pleasure to introduce Fredrik Ehno, which is the Alliance Recruit, the head of Alliance Recruit here at Timextender. My name is Juan. I'm the brand strategist here at Timextender. Welcome, Fredrik.
Thank you very much, Juan, and really looking forward to today's session.
Excellent. So I thought that it would be a nice idea just to start with a quote, and I think I posted that in our event today not so long ago. And the reason why we are here today is because our partner program is basically envisioned to create win-win situations for partners, for customers, and for our company, of course. But what I want to convey here is that our partners are a key component of our DNA. So I just want to make sure that, as Keena says in this specific quote, that is absolutely clear from the beginning of the session. So with that said, I think, Fredrik, maybe it's a good idea if you could walk us through a little bit about the history of Timextender and take it away from there.
Yes, definitely. Timextender was founded in 2006 in Denmark and actually started off as an IT consultant company. So we actually know and understand a lot of the situation that our partners are in. That is sort of part of our DNA. We are a privately owned company, and our global partner ecosystem is present in 95 countries around the globe. We have over 3,300 customers, and we are 100% channel driven, meaning we don't have any direct sales team. We only sell through our partner channel.
That's something unique, actually. And we will touch base on that in a little while, but I thank you for the introduction, Fred. Can we talk a little bit about the growth of the company, if you don't mind? And I know you've been enthusiastic today in social media talking about that. So,
yes, I think we have the last couple of years, we have a tremendous growth and a growth rate that I think is just unbelievable, especially if you consider the last year and a half with the Corona and COVID-19 situation. I think a growth number to show 48% growth rate in total annual recurring revenue or ARR, I think is just amazing. And also, as you can see in the chart, is that we have very low, virtually none customer churn. The retention rate is extremely high. So basically, of the customer that we gained and acquired in fiscal year 2018, we get the same amount of revenue from those customers in fiscal year 21, and the same with the customers we acquired in 2019. We get the same revenue in fiscal year 21. So the sort of the retention rate is just unbelievable, and also our overall growth rate. So I'm very excited about the future, and it also shows that our model is working, and that the customers and our partners can build a profitable business around Timextender.
Yeah, absolutely. So we talk a little bit about the history of Timextender, and of course, we talk a little bit about the growth, which is important for anyone that wants to partner with us. But I would like you to talk through a little bit about the product. No, so what exactly are we trying to sell here? What is the solution that we are selling?
Yeah, it's basically an automated low-code drag-and-drop data estate builder. And in today's market, it's just the data volumes are just exploding, and customers are gaining more and more systems that generates more and more data. And at the same time, there's this trend of being digital, doing the digital transformation, being data-driven, and the need from the business side to convert and transform that data into sort of analytics and AI and machine learning is enormous. And what our product and solution is really doing is making that happen way much faster, much more automated than sort of having manual coding and teams of data engineer doing this.
Yeah, okay, I think you have designed that very, very well. Just to give an analogy to everybody, and of course, I know that the audience understands very well data, but the analogy that we came up with in many occasions in order to explain exactly how our data builder works is in the same way that in the 90s you started to code, or some people did at the very least, some web pages and websites doing that manually using HTML. Today, you will use Squarespace, or in this specific scenario, Shopify, in order to build a website. So in the same way, we use our data builder state in order to create a modern data state with no code, low code. So that's a good analogy that we came up with in order to try to basically simplify what we do. And one of our mottos, of course, is simplify, automate, and execute. So with that said, I think let's jump into the partner program per se. We give a little bit of an overview about the product, history, growth. So can you tell me a little bit, Fred, what is the cost of joining the partner program, if that's okay?
Yeah. And here I really want to first maybe go back to the first slide you had with creating these win-win type of scenarios. And really our partner program is about not having thresholds and barriers for partners to sort of cross over, but make it as easy as possible to join. So our partner program doesn't cost anything. We don't charge any annual fees or any new fees for that matter to join the program. And we also don't have any annual quotas that the partners need to achieve in order to stay active as a partner. We want to help our partners and support them and making them successful, not creating sort of hurdles for them to be successful.
All right. Thanks for that. So no quotas. That doesn't mean that we don't have high expectations, of course, but no quotas to join is something that is very unique. I wanted to ask as well about the cost of the license, of the Timextender license. So how much does it cost, if that makes sense?
Yeah, you may. Our pricing and licensing model, I think, is fairly straightforward. We charge on a monthly basis. It's a 3,000 euro or dollar subscription fee. And then if you want to purchase a long-term deal, like 1, 3, or 5 years, you can get a prepaid discount for that of 10 to 20 or 30%. And in that license, you get one production instance, but you then get access to unlimited data sources, unlimited test and development environments, and all the features that the product comes with without sort of paying any extra. So it's like an all-you-can-eat buffet in this type of license with one single price.
I hope everybody has an appetite. With that said, let's talk about margins.
Yes, and in our model, the partner is actually the one selling these licenses to the end customers, and they receive a 40% margin on that. And then we send an invoice to the partner for the 60%. So 40% to the partner and 60% to us. And again, there's no sort of annual quota. We obviously want the partner to sell as much as they can, but it's not that they have to meet certain goals to get a higher margin or anything like that. It's 40% on your first deal, and it's 40% on your 10th deal, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. Thank you. And then I suppose one of the things that we have to highlight as well is you get the margin. You get the margin from the sale, of course, but as a business, your consulting hours are important, and they are yours to keep. So it has to be absolutely clear. And then if you have a revenue line that consists on Azure consumption, you will keep that. So at the very end of this partnership program, what we want is to add a recurrent revenue to your business model. So to transform, to help you grow and to grow together, obviously. I'm not sure if you want to add anything else on this, Fred.
No, and I think this comes back a little bit to what we said in the beginning with accelerating the project and the time to value for customer, which means that the partners can make professional service revenue and consumption revenue as an add-on, but they can also do more projects and then gain more new customers, since each project will be faster, relatively seen to the old way of doing things. So you can also accelerate your business in this.
Thank you. And yes, for the audience, if you have any questions, sorry, I forgot to mention that, but it goes without saying, if you have any questions, just use the chat and feel free to ask any questions that you might have. Thank you for that, Fred. So let's talk about support. Let's talk about how do we support our partners in a regular basis.
Yes, we are supporting our partners mainly through a dedicated account teams that consist of 3 different people. or type of resources, I would say, and that is alliance directors, who are the sort of commercial responsibility for the partnership and help the partner to sort of plan their business. How are they going to generate opportunities? How are they going to drive leads? How are they going to manage this pipeline? And provide reference and experience from have done this many times before with many different partners. And then you also have the partner marketing that maybe you can talk a little bit more about, Juan, but I can mention a little bit around the solution specialists, who are the technical people that are really there to support and help the partner, getting them up and running from a technical point of view, but also help, for example, with sales demos, answering questions that are maybe a little bit more technical complex that customers may have, etc., and provide support from that end.
Yeah, and I'll pick up the partner marketing manager piece. Like we said, these three components of the accounting work together in a regular basis. The partner marketing manager role focus, as you can imagine, in marketing. And we drive different initiatives with our partners. They are all connected to one another. We work as a team. That means that we co-create, we co-execute, we co-deliver the results. And that can take the shape of many different things. So it could be content marketing, where we have a calendar of content that applies to different campaigns, thought leadership content, social media content that our partners can leverage from, the brand. I'm a brand strategist, marketing manager at Timextender, so I know exactly the in and outs of that. And we have regular traffic of campaigns. So I think the last quarter, we specifically in EMEA, I'm referring to EMEA right now, we close around 25 to 30 different campaigns and initiatives. And it could be an event. Thankfully, Corona is fading away a little bit, so or at least it has during part of the year, so we were able to also run conferences and events. So a whole basically marketing, dedicated marketing team to your success, to generate leads, to generate awareness. So, I think that's super important. So let's move on. And we talked about exponential growth, but it's also, I think we need to reflect on our retention rate. So if you can speak of that actually a little bit more in depth than in the beginning.
Yeah, exactly. And as I said, our retention rate is north of 95%, which I think is unbelievably good for the industry. I think most companies are very happy if they're north of 80%. So I think from that, and again, I think it speaks to the strength of our value proposition and how happy our customers are with our solution and how good of a market fit we do have. And again, you can look at the graph there and you see year over year, we basically have no or very little churn in the market, which I just think is just amazing.
Yeah, and I think this also speaks to the fact that if the customers remain with us for 5 years, of course, you have opportunities as a partner to build different projects within the components of Timextender and beyond the components of Timextender. So it's a win-win situation for you as a partner to drive that relationship with your customers. I think at the end of the day, everybody knows that it's easier just to maintain a customer happy than to acquire a customer at any point. So I think this is a huge value proposition from our partnership program. So let's move on. And I'm going to talk a little bit about customer feedback. Recently, we have received, let me rephrase that. BARC, which is an independent firm, an analyst firm based in Germany, has published the data management survey for 2022. And as you can see on the right-hand side, we have been highlighted as top rank in 2 of the categories and then 3 leading positions. That is an independent report. And then some of the feedback that you can see on the left-hand side is basically the verbatim, the statements that our customers are basically portraying about us. Beyond this scenario, of course, and beyond the retention rate, which is obviously speaks highly about our customer feedback, you can also check e2.com, where you will see different reviews about our product, and we have been also highlighted for the winter report. So we have a lot of momentum in the data management industry as it is today. I'm not sure if you want to add anything else to that, Fred.
No, I think you covered that pretty good, Juan, so I've nothing really to add there.
Perfect. So, moment to recap. Maybe you can go through that, Fred.
Yes, I think the one very good reason is, of course, that it is free, so you don't have to invest a lot of money just in the partnership itself. It's much better you invest that in sort of learning how to sell and market our solution. I think then you get way more value for that, and that's also valuable to us, of course. You don't have any direct sales organization to compete with. We are a 100% channel-driven company, which means that we will not compete. Our job is to help our partners become successful, not compete with them. Also, we offer 40% margin, which across the board, which I think is a very good margin, which also allows our partners to invest in the business and have salespeople selling our solution, invest in marketing, etc., to drive more sales. You also, as a partner, receive the support of this dedicated partner account team, as we're talking about. And again, they are really working for the partner and not the other way around. It's our job and responsibility to make our partners successful. And then, again, we have a fantastic price and licensing model. I think it's very easy to understand. It's very easy to sell and go to market with. It's 3,000 euros or dollars per month. It's a monthly subscription fee. It includes one production instance and then unlimited test and development versions, all the features and functions, and you can connect it to as many data sources and endpoints as you want. And then last but not least, it gives you the opportunity to build a very predictable and stable business with recurring revenue through our very extremely high customer retention rates.
Right. Thank you, Fred. So one more thing, Steve Jobs' style, just to emphasize a little bit more that we do not sell software. We create software. We develop cutting-edge technology in order for you to market that software. We build relationships with you. We build relationships with our customers, of course, but it's up to you to actually execute on the sales aspect of things. And we know we have 16 years of experience. We know this model works extremely well. So I hope you can join us on that. With that said, I suppose maybe we can talk a little bit about some of the kind of questions that come through often when we run a webinar, we talk with our partners. You do that more often than you, Fred, so maybe you can speak to these specific questions and then give some pointers.
Yeah, exactly. And I think these are questions that we talk to our partners about when we're sort of discussing the partnership, because obviously we don't want to force our partners or potential partners into something that doesn't fit their business. So these are the type of questions and discussions we have with our partners, our potential partners, if they want to join. And maybe we could highlight a little bit around it about the existing customer base. We typically target companies that are having north of $50 million in annual revenue and upwards to probably a couple of $1,000 million in revenue is sort of our sweet spot. And there, I think it's also important to know, since we are a IP co-sell partner of Microsoft, and we also are a Gold Data Platform partner, we have a very close relationship with Microsoft. And if we need to provide deal support, we register all our deals, even if they are through our partner channel, with Microsoft. And if we need help and assistance, for example, with Azure or Azure consumption and these kind of things, we can get that through our partnership with Microsoft. We also regularly do different types of events and co-sponsor marketing activities with Microsoft as well. Then I think the other thing that the potential partner needs to ask themselves a little bit is like, how does the Timextender complement their current offering? And is that an add-on to that fit well into the overall strategy and where they are going with? And then, of course, does the partner have the sort of the technical skill set and the capabilities to implement and do projects around Timextender? And if not, of course, then do they have the resources to get those skill sets, etc.? And the same goes for sales and marketing, because you are obviously going to need to have sales staff and people that can sell and market our solution to be successful, right? And that's what we all are looking for.
Yeah, it's the power of the crowd, especially when it comes to marketing. So everybody contributes from our partner base and our partner community. So I think it's super important to actually have that element of resources inside the organization. And in terms, I'm just gonna recap a little bit in terms of the Microsoft events that we have run. So this year we have run, I think, 6 or 7 events over the past 6 months or so. And I think it's great to just collaborate with Microsoft in that element. Their reach, of course, is fantastic. Their speakers are incredibly talented when it comes to speak from a thought leadership perspective to attract the right specific type of customer to the table. So it's a super win-win situation when we work with them in that level. So I just wanted to highlight that. So I'm going to move on. Obviously, this is a slide where we ask you to connect with us if you have any questions about what we just put in front of your eyes today. Open up a little bit for questions. So if you have any questions about what we have discussed or anything that we haven't covered, you are more than welcome to post them. And I just see one coming up.
Yeah, I'm personally looking forward to your Timextender demo now, Juan.
Yeah, I think I'm going to pass the ball to the solution specialist. I think that will be much better. I'm not the sharpest tool in the box when it comes to that. But yeah, so the question that I have here is a question about the type of industries that we typically work with. So what are industries or verticals that we have actually mastered, so to say, or are more successful when it comes to use Timextender? So maybe you can speak of that, Fred.
Yeah, I would say that we basically cover all verticals and industries. There is no industry that we are sort of not covering, I would say. And then, of course, there's some that are more maybe successful or where we have more customers, etc. I think we have in manufacturing, we have in distribution, we have in financial services, we have in retail and travel as well. And again, I think the whole idea is that we provide the expertise around data warehouse in general and how you build a data estate and automate that. But then our partners are the ones that comes with this vertical expertise and the industry skill set and match that together. And that is, for example, why I think one of the reasons why we have stayed out of doing direct selling, because again, you need to come up with a combination of the product solution with the sort of function or industry expertise in order to make it very attractive to the customer.
Absolutely. Let me see if we have any other questions. Otherwise, okay, I think somebody, yeah. So there is a question about onboarding. So if we have any sort of onboarding for partners and how does that look like, basically?
Yes, we have an onboarding in all these 3 different areas we have covered or talked about. We have a 90-day onboarding program that is fantastic, and it's really developed in order to accelerate the learning path of this. And they basically cover the sales aspect of it. It covers the marketing and lead generation aspect of it, and it covers the technical side and learning the product, learning the best practices and how to implement Timextender. And getting to know the product and feel comfortable with that. And also there I want to add, and then of course, in addition to that, if a new partner signs up a project, we are of course assisting them and a sort of an extended arm if they have questions coming up or if they need help doing a demo or doing a proof of concept, etc. And we also of course provide new partners with customer reference, and then try to help them as much as we can to get those initial deals under the belt so that they then have their own reference, which is so crucial when you're working in this industry.
If I may, I just want to drop a number, quantitative data is also important. So the POCs, the proof of concept scenario, I just want to mention that when it comes to that point, obviously it takes some time to get to that point, but when it comes to that point, the closure rate is 80%. If I'm not mistaken, Fred, unless it has increased, but I think it's improving.
I think it's north of 80%.
Yeah. So I think it's a super important number to keep in mind, but also super important to mention that, of course, our solution specialists and the team in general is super happy to support that process. So I just wanted to mention that. Let me see if we have any other questions. Otherwise, I think we can wrap up and give time back to people, because time matters. Yeah, no more questions. Okay, so we'll wrap it up here. Thank you very much, Fred. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. I talk to you often, but not in this context. And again, if anybody wants to connect with us, here are our details. And I think super important is to have to show you the magic. It won't be me. It will be one of the solution specialists. But just reach out. We'll be happy to support you in that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a great day, everybody.
Bye-bye.